Hello and welcome. I'm so excited to talk about this topic today. It's dear to my heart. So we got this question from one of our readers in our Facebook community. The question is, I'm 100 days alcohol free and still flummoxed at how I was managing to put away at least 700 extra calories a day, and yet I haven't lost any weight. This blows my mind.
We hear this a lot with clients. I hear it a lot. We hear it in our path groups that we coach, our group coaching. People really get frustrated, women especially, when they stop drinking and they don't lose weight right away. And sometimes it's so frustrating that they have data points because they're like, so, Ruby, what was your experience with this, with losing weight when you stopped drinking?
This is such a good question. So for me, I didn't lose weight automatically either. So I really relate to this reader's question or this listener's question in that, first of all, I felt like I was already not drinking alcohol. So I was going to go ahead and have dessert, have ice cream. So in a way, it wasn't like I really didn't have a lot of extra calories, less calories necessarily. I was giving myself so much grace and self-compassion around things that made me feel comforting, and food made me feel comforting. So, and it was like a treat. I could have dessert now if I wasn't drinking like lots of wine. But I had the exact same thought, like, wait a minute, I'm not drinking like thousands of calories, and alcohol. Shouldn't I just automatically lose weight? And it's interesting. I don't know if you have this experience, Susan, but it's the same when I had a baby. I thought, after I have a baby, won't I just automatically lose weight? So I think we have these assumptions, but I know. But for my body, when I think back, I had to be very intentional around food and sugar. And for me, it just kind of at about 100 days alcohol free, which is interesting. We're talking about 100 days. I kind of made the decision that I wanted to look at my food and sugar and just be intentional. I wanted to be healthier. I knew I would feel better. And I do think that my body, probably for the whole first year, but definitely for the first 100 days, was trying to heal, and it was out of whack, right? It was trying to get to homeostasis. I think a lot of organs were working hard to recalibrate and to get to what we call homeostasis, which is back to normal, back to balance. When we're drinking, everything is out of balance. Think of probably everything in our bodies, everything. Skin, organs, brain, sleep, emotions. Think about all the things that have to heal. So I think, and my mantra was, if you can't see me unless you watch the YouTube video, but patience, patience, patience. I said that mantra every day. I swear to you, in my journals, every day, in my head, all the time, because I wanted patience, patience, patience. My body was doing so much work, and then when I was ready, I intentionally, and we'll talk about intentions later too, but intentionally decided I want to look at my food and my sugar, and and it was like the second thing I did. So yeah, What do you think? What do you think about this, Susan?
Well, I always tell clients to uncouple weight loss or any expectations around weight and your alcohol-free journey. Just separate them in the beginning. Have them, because that expectation that you're going to lose weight can really be a stumbling block, because if you don't, then your brain starts to tell you, well, if you're not losing weight anyway, no, it becomes a data point. It did for me, for sure. So just uncoupling that, and like you said, making that your second thing, the next domino, and then everything that we learn about how our mindset around alcohol and looking at our thoughts and making a feeling-based goal and getting curious and awareness and all the things that we talk about on this podcast for alcohol, you can turn around and apply to food. So in my experience too, I didn't lose weight right away. Excuse me. And I was eating a little Dove mini bar every night. And maybe not just one. Maybe not just one. So maybe like 2 or 3. They were like these little 60-calorie chocolate covered ice cream bars. They're so good. And it was the summer because I started in June, and I was just having one of those every night. And then I got to about 100 days. Similar. This is so interesting. The precision of this question from this listener. And I was like, I went to the freezer to get my little Dove bar, and then I just went, do I really need this? Do I really want this? Could I not have it tonight? And I was like, yeah, I was ready. I was like, yeah, I don't need this tonight. Like, and I sort of weaned myself off that little habit. And, and I totally agree with you about the body needing to repair. I think a lot of times I would drink instead of eat. And so my body just wasn't getting the nutrition it needed. And so I do think that in the recovery phase in our alcohol-free journey, our body's actually wanting to store up these nutrients from food and kind of like just use it all to get us healthy. And so it's maybe not going to shed the weight right away. But I do know that obviously if you stop drinking, you are not bringing in extra 700 calories. And if you continue that on, like maybe in the second half of the first year or the next year, and you start to get intentional about your food, you will start to be able to reach those goals as well. So,
yeah, I want to interject really quick that also I think our bodies, it might be in survival mode. If you've changed something, yes, not drinking is good for the body, right? But it's also a change. And whenever we're changing, I think our bodies try to hold on and not necessarily release, say, the fat or the other, it's just such an interesting thing that it's longer term to heal too. So I know we're like, oh, why aren't I at 100 days? Why aren't I just all these things magically happen? Our bodies it's a process. And I want to really quickly give my pom-poms yay to 100 days. 100 days is amazing. And that is, I think what we're saying here is it's kind of like a shift where you do look at that next domino, that next thing. I think it can, but listen to your own intuition. You do it at your own, rate or whatever. Yeah.
Yes. If you're solidly alcohol free at 100 days, and I'm not saying like you never have urges or you never have, but on a mostly daily basis, you are being successful and you're not having to use a ton of tools and you're just feeling really good about it and you're ready for the next domino. You're ready to take on something else. I remember in my group coaching program I was in, we got to a point where it's like, okay, what's next? And I wasn't ready for something next, honestly. I was like, no, I'm still building my alcohol-free muscles here. Yep. And I wasn't ready to take on it. I got anxious. Like, wait, what are you talking about, people? I just gave up alcohol. What do you mean, what's my next goal? I just got really like, what? And that's okay too, right? It's okay to be like, no, I'm still building my solid alcohol-free structures in my life. And that was what I was supposed to continue. So
that's amazing. Listening to your intuition. But you can use this methodology like that we have been talking about, like curiosity and awareness and self-compassion. We keep going back to those 3 things, and we always will, right, Susan?
Yes.
But, so it create an emotional-based goal around eating. So, how do you want to feel? Again, our podcast is named Feel Lit, Alcohol Free. So like, how do you want to feel around food? How do you want to feel around sugar? And I love, Susan, your example of this. You all of a sudden looked at that Dove bar and said, well, wait a minute. You got curious, right? And how do I want to feel? And so it really can work to just start to get curious and aware and give yourself self-compassion.
Yeah. And uncoupling the two, like really do one thing at a time. I've so many people I know, they're like, okay, I'm going to do food, sugar, and alcohol all at once. And I'm like,
and join the gym.
I don't recommend that. And join a gym. And earn $1 million. And it's like, whoa, take one thing at a time. You can do all those things, but just a few things at a time. Yeah. I mean, some people, I don't know. I guess some people are like, no, I'm all or nothing. I have to do it all. But I have not seen that really succeed. I mean, I'm sure now people will write to us and go, I'm one of those people. And I think there are those unicorns that are like, you know, the people that go do the 100-mile runs and things like that.
Yeah.
There's that personality.
Well,
but
there is something to be said, for example, having a high protein, high good fat diet in recovery, you know, in the beginning part of your alcohol-free journey can help your brain. It can help. It can couple together.
Yeah.
You know, but to be strict about it, like all or nothing, because what happens if you say, like, I'm going to go to the gym, you know, every single day, and then you're not able to one day, well then, okay, I'm not going to go to the gym ever. So that's where you're risking when it's an all or nothing thinking. There's such a gray area, right? We want to focus on more the gray area, you're doing better, making progress, not so much all or nothing. Like, where are you making progress? The gap versus the gain. I love that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the magic middle. And I learned that in my Sacred Depths training, which is this myth of perfection. And I was under that. You know, if it's not perfect, then it's not good enough. And the secret sauce is really in the middle. The secret sauce is the gray area between the two, the black and white thinking. And it's something I really struggle with, and something I really, even in our alcohol-free journey, like if I just had so much trouble if I was failing, and which means I had trouble with self-compassion. I really did. And something I'm still working on, you know, but that's the secret sauce, is to be able to be both. And it's to be able to be, I'm really working on this, and I'm not always successful, but I'm going to keep going, versus letting that stop your forward movement, especially in our alcohol-free journey, using the data points to get the data and keep moving forward.
Yes.
You don't go back to the starting line. And if you're running a marathon,
Yes.
if you fall down and skin your knee, you go off to the side, you take care of it, you put a Band-Aid on it, then you get up and you run from there. Nobody says go back to this. No, nobody says go back to the starting line and start over again. No.
Right. So the concept here that I'd love to highlight is the joy is in the journey. Like you said, the magic is in the middle. But it's so true. And only when I'm in the middle, it feels maybe hard. But when I look from being a year alcohol free and I look at that year, there was so much joy and progress and pride and moving through all of these things. And you can do that with the food too. So what I'm hearing from the listener is that you might, now again, I want everybody to listen to their own intuition when you're ready. And like Susan said, she wasn't ready at 100 days necessarily, but listen to your own intuition and then just get curious, aware, and start getting intentional maybe with your weight loss and your food. And not just assuming. You know, assuming makes what? An ass out of you and me? Assuming that you'll lose the weight. Like, yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, that was something I love that. Assuming it makes an ass out of you and me. I remember, I think I had a fifth grade teacher, not fifth grade, no, it was in high school. Fifth period teacher who said that. Hopefully not a fifth grade teacher. Yeah, I think actually the reason why now that we're talking about this, the reason why I wasn't ready to do anything in 100 days is because I was in that black and white thinking still. And it scared. Oh, there we go with the balloons. Oh, did you see that? I did.
So listeners, balloons just flew out of my fingers. They do it every now and then, and I can't figure out why this happens. Anyway, I was thinking it hit that achiever button in me, like, okay, now I'm gonna have to do something else 100%, and actually what I was doing at the time was exactly what I should have been doing. It's this awareness, and curiosity, do I really need to eat the Stuff Bar right now? No, maybe I could go a night without it, but it wasn't that perfection. It was like, maybe I'll have one tonight, maybe I won't. Maybe I'll see how I feel not having as much sugar. Maybe I'll see now, you know what I mean? And that actually, I probably was actually moving into a new domino, but in my mind, because I was still in that black and white thinking of, okay, now I have something else I have to slay or conquer or whatever. That was like, you know what I mean? That's not it. Like I was ready to do a little something, but it's baby steps. It's
Yeah,
curiosity, awareness, baby steps. Yeah.
For me, it was sugar. I had watched a Katie Couric documentary called Fed Up around sugar, and it made such a big impact on me. I saw it right around the 100 days, and I thought, sugar is actually kind of does the same thing as alcohol. I thought in my mind that's similar, right? It's addictive. It even says it's more addictive than cocaine, and it also kind of it felt similar in my mind. I was like, am I just using sugar now to kind of mask, my alcohol urges? And I think it's a great tool to use in the beginning. It really worked well for me. I had a craving, an urge for alcohol. I would have a cookie or eat really healthy. I would eat whatever I wanted, comforting or fun, but I would do this for, like I said, for about 3 months. And then I just it dawned on me, wow, the sugar's kind of doing the same thing, right? And so let me try it. And it was interesting. I did kind of go hardcore, meaning I just stopped and I started to get really curious what's happening. And because I had done the alcohol-free kind of journey and felt a little more confident around that, I knew I could do it with sugar. It was like a mindset. I knew I could do it with sugar too. And just moving through the urges, similar ways that I move through the urges with alcohol. So a lot of these tools that you work on with alcohol, you can do it with food or sugar.
Yeah. Well, how did you feel? What did you find when you
what did I find?
eliminated sugar?
Question.
Yeah.
Well, I had urges all the time. Each night, I wanted to eat the chocolate or the ice cream. But what I felt was when I had sugar a couple of times, during this, I felt stomach ache. I didn't like how I felt. I felt that energy, right? Sugar gives me short energy, but then a drop. Then I was crashed. So I could see and witness and observe my sugar crash, and then it hurt my stomach. I had headaches. When I didn't sleep well, if I had sugar late at night, I started just getting, like we say, just curious, aware, observing, how do I want to feel? And for me, even now, I'm sugar-free for about 4 years, almost 5. And if I accidentally have sugar, like a restaurant puts it in the food, I know right away. It's kind of like an elimination diet where when you really take away something, like we were talking earlier around alcohol, if we eliminate alcohol for a long time and then you introduce it, it's going to give you a stronger reaction, than maybe you're used to having a whole bottle of wine every night, then you maybe go alcohol free for a month. If you drink a whole bottle, your body's going to react a lot differently than it did. So you start to notice these things with different foods or different, like with sugar. So it's so interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So interesting. I'm always amazed that you're sugar free still, Ruby. I am not there. I literally ate a whole chocolate bunny. That was left over from Easter a few weeks ago. And I can feel, but I'm getting there. Like the curiosity is like, no, that did not make me feel good. It did not make me feel good. I ate the ears one night, then I ate the head the other night. It's about this, I don't know, it was about this big.
Yeah.
Well, and my husband's like, yeah, I saw that headless bunny sitting on the table. And then I ate the body the next day. And it was like, oh my gosh, Susan, you ate an entire chocolate bunny in 3 days. And then I did observe, I don't feel good when I have sugar. It affects my gut. I just love chocolate, but I did. So what I did was I gave away the other 2 chocolate bunnies that I had to other people. And then I made my healthy, because there's no sugar in it. It's with dates. There's these energy balls. They're with nuts, dates.
I love those.
And sugar-free, or not sugar-free, but no sugar, unsweetened cocoa powder. And I made those, and I said, okay, this is my treat. This gives me that chocolate flavor that I really like. So I'm not depriving myself of this flavor that I like, but it's super healthy. It has really healthy fats with the nuts, and the dates is a natural sweetener. And so that was what I did, though, rather than just be like, eliminate something I like, is I set myself up for success, shall we say, by making that and giving away the other two chocolate, giving away the temptation, right?
Yes. But I want to share with you, when I say I'm sugar-free, I eat monk fruit and stevia. I call them fat bombs. And they're with the cocoa and the like coconut butter and say a nut butter. And I eat those every single day with my coffee. And I do not feel deprived. And there are chocolate bars made with stevia and chocolate bars made with monk fruit. So I don't know. I don't feel deprived. Yeah, at all.
Oh,
yeah.
I got to find some of those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I do like chocolate. I really do. And so, I was going to point out something in just what we were just discussing too, is this idea of setting yourself up for success for alcohol. It never ceases to amaze me how many clients that I work with who just don't get the alcohol out of their house in the first 100 days. Like, set yourself up for success. I get it if you have a spouse or whatever, like have that conversation. Go keep your beer in the fridge down in the garage or shed. Or my husband, and I'm really blessed that he was really supportive, did not bring any wine home, has not bring any wine home into the house ever. Well, no, that's not true. But for the most part, did not bring. He brought it at that time. I think I've talked about this story when we went to San Diego for his father's funeral. But that's another story. But for the most part, was very, very supportive, and we did not have any wine in the house. So, and there was no alcohol in the house. So I didn't have. I had to make a conscious choice. I had moments where I was just like, had cravings, but I knew I would have to go all the way down to the liquor store to get it. Like it wasn't just right there within like knee-jerk reaction reach. So that definitely helps with the first 100 days.
Yeah. I just said no alcohol in my home. I was living alone though, so it can be easier, but I just, no alcohol's entering my door. Yeah. So
make it harder. Give away the bunnies. Make it harder for you to
give
away
the bunnies. Let's call this episode "Give Away the Bunnies."
Give away the bunnies. I'm so embarrassed. I just outed myself for eating an entire chocolate bunny on my podcast. Okay.
This has been so fun.
I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
I am not perfect. Oh my gosh. Well, so speaking of fun, Ruby, you always have good things. I'm like, I really have to come up with more ways I feel lit or do a better job. But what are you doing to feel lit lately?
Well, I wanted to use this time to talk about intention setting. I mentioned it in the beginning of the episode. And I want to talk about, I'm going to first get more like sciencey around it, but and tell you what intention setting is more than just wishful thinking. It's a scientifically proven technique for achieving your goals. By clearly defining what you want to accomplish and visualizing your success, you activate neural pathways in your brain that prime you for action. So research shows by setting intentions, it can increase motivation, focus, and ultimately success. So we are going to talk about harnessing the power of intention. So honestly, it can be as simple as, and I do this all the time. I literally do this all the time. What is my intention for today? I just just simply ask that question. It can be one thing or a few things, but you're literally, you can write them down, but setting an intention, and it can be just this guiding force. Almost like, have you heard of the word of the year, where you have this like guiding force? But a word of the year could be a guiding force for the whole year, like leading my life with love. That could be love, could be the guiding force. But like for your intention for today, I'm going to be so present. And now I want to talk. So that's what I often will do. Like, how can I be more present and feel? So notice and feel the feelings in the moment. I know we had talked about with Coach Pam some glimmers, but that's similar, right? Like notice. So instead of always asking the question, what's next? Like so many people live in that space. What's next? What's next? Can you ask yourself, what's now? Like what's happening right now? And feel the feeling for right now. There's no good or bad feelings, I think. I think they're just all feelings. We're human feelings, and we're going to feel the feelings. But what's now? Get so present and intentional. This is what I want to share today. It really helps me feel lit to be intentional with my life.
Oh my gosh.
I feel lit. Yeah. What do you think, Susan, about all that?
I love that. I'm like writing notes here. Well, I loved what you said about what's now. That just resonated with me, and that we are human feelings. I think that is the thing that that I struggled with in my alcohol-free journey, and I'm still working on, is really getting more in touch with my feelings, and also not being behavior-based. Like what, you could misinterpret what you're saying, I think, by saying, oh, what's my intention today? Oh, my intention is to get this, and this done. That's how I would used to do it. But now I realize that, no, it's how do I want to feel throughout my day?
Exactly.
And then what do I do to feel that way? So that's a little bit different spin from us hope overachiever crazy people who are like, okay, yeah, I would get into this mode, like tunnel vision mode of like getting all the things done and just disregard how I felt about it. And then that got me to such a empty place that then that's why I wanted to drink. That's when I talk about like drinking to over function. So when you're talking about setting an intention, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about how do you want to feel, a feeling based intention.
Yes.
But I love what you said. And then how do you feel right now, staying in the present?
In the present. Not, we are living our life right now, like in this moment. In fact, what I just said, that's past. Like we are living right now. The more we can live right now, because if we're living in the past, that's going to create like more sadness or for a lot of people. If you're living in the future, that creates anxiety because our brain oftentimes will go to the negative to try to protect us. But what's happening right now? It's really the secret sauce. I think secret sauce might be another
secret sauce.
It's the secret sauce. It's like right now you can also feel good. I love to say we're human feelings because I've been contemplating this idea of what is the purpose in life. What if it's just to feel feelings? Human beings, we're just here. We're feeling the feelings, and that's why I love that we named it "Feel It Alcohol Free" because it's all about the feelings, right, Susan?
Yes, it is. My nemesis, good old feelings. I grew up in a family where we didn't have feelings. We didn't do feelings. Nobody did feelings.
Yeah.
And then we would squish them down like the beach ball under the water, and then they'd pop up, and like I'd be over here having a panic attack or crying or just, and then I was the Susan and her feelings, So yeah, it's something I continue to work on. But also when you were, explaining the science, when you were talking about intention setting, visualizing, like kind of visualizing how you want to feel, visualizing yourself. So that is a little bit like future thinking, but with an intention, versus the intention versus fear-based future thinking.
Exactly.
Is that kind of what you're talking about? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And so setting an intention of how do you want to feel. And thank you so much for listening. Yeah. We are loving this podcast, and please join our Facebook community. It's Feel It Alcohol Free Podcast Facebook community, and we'd love to see you there. It's growing, and ask us questions because it just might be on our podcast.
Yes.
So thank you so much.
Yay. Okay. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.